Hello guys, this is Jerry speaking. Welcome to LJPCBM Reacts, episode number 554. And today I'm reacting to Purple Roads Podcast, episode number 38. Jim Rowley, the Barney Friends director. And to react to this, begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm Carrie Stinson, and my journey through life has been quite an adventure. For over 20 years, I played Barney the Dinosaur on tour, and 7 seasons of the hugely popular TV show, Barney and Friends.
Wow.
Now, my journey is to bring together friends and guests from all over the entertainment world for inspiring and at times amusing behind-the-scenes conversation. I'm Carrie Stinson, and this is Purple Roads.
Wow.
Welcome to another episode of Purple Roads. I'm Carrie Stinson, and I can't stop smiling. I've got a good friend here, Jim Rowley, who was a director and a producer with Barney back in 1991, and I'm just so thrilled and excited. I'm about coming out of my seat, Jim, to have you on this week. So good to see you from Arkansas.
From Arkansas, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hiding away in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas.
Well, I love all the decoration you have behind you.
Well, I had to put something up for the folks and for you to see. This one back here was a promotional piece for, I think that's actually a video, 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons.
Wow.
What, goodness gracious, what year was there? What was that?
Oh gosh, don't let me go.
Don't worry, we forget stuff. I forget stuff all the time.
Wow.
And let me tell you this, if I get going on dates, you will be fact-checked to death.
Wow.
I can tell you it was back then, and I can tell you who was on it and so forth, but gosh, I'd have to guess at a year. We did so many home videos, Carrie, you know that. You were in a bunch of them, and David did a bunch of them, and I think I did probably 30 or 35 home videos besides the series, and then there were a bunch of other home videos that were compilations of stuff put together.
Well, I want to start, Jim, what you were doing and how you got into all this before Barney, how you got into the industry, how you became a director and a producer, and what you were doing beforehand.
Well, it all started in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago. When I got out of high school, I wound up on the island of Okinawa, and long story short, I got into radio as a volunteer. And from that, I came back to the States. I stayed in radio for about 4 years, some in Dallas and Fort Worth, some up in Lawton, Oklahoma. And when I was in Lawton, I used to listen to this guy named Ted Cassidy on WFAA, Communication Center.
Mm-hmm.
Ted Cassidy was Lurch the Butler on The Addams Family.
Wow.
At that time, he was an announcer there at WFAA, and I used to listen to him say, well, I'd like to go to work at that place someday, And long story short, I came back to Dallas. I worked at the PBS station for a year, and then I wound up at Channel 8, WFAA. And so that's how I got started.
Savannah? Really? I was living in Savannah. Hold on 1 sec.
And long story short, I came back to Dallas. I worked at the PBS station for a year, and then I wound up at Channel 8, WFAA. And so that's how I got started in TV. I spent 10 years there, and I became very proficient at multi-camera live television. Did a lot
I follow that. Okay.
Bandstand show that was quite famous in the 60s called Something Else.
Oh, wow.
And so, after that, I started my own production company. I worked for a couple of other production companies in Dallas, but I was basically in the production business from, the early 70s up until Barney snagged me, and then my production business, I was fully employed even though I was still freelance, but so my production business kind of went out the window.
Wow.
But in the past, I did a lot of work for Radio Shack. I had a Safeway
Wow.
account for years. So, the production business was good to me. But I'll tell you the story of how I got into Barney.
And I love this because I've never heard this before, so I'm excited. I love hearing new things.
All right. Well, in the late '80s, I was hired by Color Dynamics, if you know who that is, of course.
I do.
Turned out to
Wow.
be the Lions Group, and then Hit Entertainment, all the various entities of Barney. I was hired. This was pre-Barney in the late '80s.
Wow.
To do a series of real estate videos from Color Dynamics. So they hired Tony Randall. Do you know that name?
I do very well.
Yeah,
From the Odd Couple.
Wow.
Exactly.
And so many other things, but yes.
Yeah, him and Jack Klugman. Yeah. Anyway, Tony Randall came down from New York, and we did these three. I think it was called a real estate project. So we did 3 videos in which he starred, and that's how I was introduced to Color Dynamics. And when I was working on that show, there was a young man working on that series with me who had, I think, just come to work at Color Dynamics, hadn't been there too long. His
Wow.
name was Dennis DeShazer.
Wow.
Very well.
There you go. So that's when Dennis and I first met. So anyway, I did those home videos, and then they went on to do 6 Barney home videos, Barney in the Backyard Gang, which I was not involved with. But then came the idea to do Barney in concert.
Wow.
Because he'd become quite popular, and this was, again, before PBS.
And were you following this as it was getting popular, going, what is happening here?
No, not really. I was aware there was a Barney, but I was still had my own production thing going, and was really busy doing a lot of stuff for Radio Shack and doing some national spots, things that wound up on the Super Bowl and that kind of stuff, So I was busy. But in the background, I knew it was there because a friend of mine had actually developed a concept to do a children's home video series. Quite different than what Barney was. But anyway, so because we had done that, on the back burner, I was kind of aware that there was a Barney out there,
And was that your first kids introduction into kids TV, kids entertainment, and kids show? Your friend's show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. First time but when they decided to do
Wow.
Barney in concert, I got a call from Dennis. And Dennis was interested in me coming along because I have a lot of experience with multi-camera live video production. So
Wow.
that's how I got going. And look what I got here.
I have never seen that before.
Yeah.
Never seen
And
that. That is so cool.
I will tell you that Bob West, the voice of Barney back then,
Yeah.
he designed this.
I didn't know that either. He's
Yeah.
obviously he's a designer, but I had no idea he did that.
Yeah, well, he's in Hollywood now doing that stuff. Well, you
Wow.
had him on the show, you know all about it. But yeah, so that was my first experience with Barney. And, from that, just as they say, the rest is history.
So what did you think? With that show at the Majestic, we had Bob Singleton on that was talking a little bit about that show as well. That the reaction was crazy. That I think people had
Wow.
seen Barney the crew had seen him doing the show and heard he was getting big, but actually seeing the fans react was pretty crazy.
I'll tell you this story about when I figured, okay, this is going to be a big hit. This is at the Majestic. We're preparing to do the show, and I stepped into the restroom, and there was one of the stagehands, union guy, in one of the stalls.
Wow.
I don't know if he knew I was in there or not, but from the stall, I heard this deep voice going, "Hey, Mr. Hey,
wow.
What is it? Hey, Mr.
Knickerbocker, boppity bop."
Yeah, hey, Mr. Knickerbocker, boppity bop, coming out of the stall, and I thought, well, this is really catching on.
Wow.
So anyway.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny. So what challenges did you have doing that show? The Majestic.
Yeah, well, doing theater for video as you and we're going to talk about this later because I have some stuff to show you here.
Wow.
It's a challenge because the cameras are far away. You can't really be up close with anybody on stage.
Wow.
It's all long lens pushing in, and then you're shooting a live thing with no retakes.
Wow.
And again, I want to talk to you about stuff we did in Phoenix and Chicago and all of that later on. But
wow.
So that's a challenge, and the lighting is also a big challenge. Theater to TV, theater lighting is not necessarily wonderful for television, and back in those days in the 90s, especially not so. Now that television has progressed so much, they light beautifully for theater and for TV. It's great because the cameras are much better and all of that. Like if you've seen Hamilton, for instance,
wow.
that's all lit for stage, but on video, it's just gorgeous, So that's one of the big challenges.
And then is it a challenge? Well, I know it's a challenge. With your audience mainly being kids.
Yeah.
Dealing with that part of it compared to like Hamilton's going to be much more of an adult audience, but this you've got kids that you don't know if they're going to run around or try and go on stage or what they're going to do.
Well, no, you don't. Now, from my perspective, what we do is we want to shoot the show, and then we dedicate some camera to shooting the audience. So you get all the kids' response and even the parents and all of that. So it's not so much, from my perspective, a control of the audience. It's more shooting the audience. And, of course, producers and all of that make sure that there's someone in place to keep everybody from running up on stage and all of that.
Right.
You've been attacked before.
Oh, a few times.
Wow.
a few times.
Yeah.
So after Majestic, then you went to I guess this would have been Barney and Friends.
Well, there was right after Majestic, we went straight to Allen, that little studio in Allen, Texas, and we did a home video. I don't recall the name of it, but it was about kids whose parents, one of the kids' parents worked at a TV studio. So the kids all got to tour this, quote, studio. So there were big giant props and stuff, like a big giant
wow.
chair and a big cereal bowl and stuff like that. But so we did that video, and there may have been one other. I've talked with Dennis about this numerous times, and he and I both have a little blank spot right there. Trying to figure out if there was one more video before we started CBS.
Well, there was so much production going on over the years. It is very difficult to keep up with all the videos and the shows and all of that.
Yeah.
And then when you started, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So when you started with, because I was doing so many different things, so I wasn't around for these times of the show. So it's fascinating me to kind of put all put the picture together. So did you start? So you started directing on Barney and Friends from there?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. When
Sure.
did you first get in the suit?
Well, I was with Sloan Coleman back in '91 doing the birthday party. So it was not, it was the birthday
Okay.
party suit.
Well,
And then I started in '92 when they had, I don't know if you remember, David was doing the show, but I did that People magazine photo shoot.
yeah. Yeah.
That was my first time coming out to Allen and getting in
Yeah.
the big suit.
So you've been there since the beginning. So, uh, okay, where are we?
So Barney and Friends.
Barney and Friends. First season. We shot that starting in '91. I think it went on the air in May of '92, something like that. We did 30 episodes straight through. I directed every one of them. And PBS started putting them on the air, and they were going so fast. Jeff Gettle and I, we didn't know if we could get the shows out in time to get them to PBS before an air date. I mean, it was literally people running to the airport with a tape. Here, get this to New York. It was crazy. And I had a little tiny Mac 512, which was basically just a word processor.
Right.
And I can remember printing out stuff and swear to God, cut and paste on paper, a script, working on scripts, cutting out a line, typing up something, taping that in there.
Wow.
Before we did it electronically, so it was crazy in the early days. But you know about the studio in the early days, right?
I do. I presume you're referencing the fact that it was one big studio and the set was split.
Yeah, it was one studio. Erase the word big.
I don't know why I said big. Yeah.
It was about the size of a good sized living room. But yes, right down the middle was where the cameras would be positioned. On one side was the classroom, and then we would just literally turn the cameras around, and there was the schoolyard that Jeff Nelson had, production manager then, had designed all that and painted this beautiful big site, which was trees in a neighborhood out there on a fence here in the foreground, and off to one side was an entrance to the school. But yeah, that's how we do it. We just basically, the cameras didn't move; they just turned around.
I'm so curious. Was it hard for you to come up with? I mean, when you just have so limited. I mean, you probably had Barney enter from every aspect of it, or the kids. I mean, you probably used it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We used every inch of it. But it was fun. We learned a lot about the character. One of the things that we had to do for years, and of course you're very familiar with this, but when Jess Nelson was designing a set, or later on when Bob Lavalley was designing, you basically had to have like a 4-foot circle around any place Barney would be in the set because of the tail.
Right.
So, those guys, they had to design, okay, well, this bookcase is going to go here and this chair is going to go here. But they have to be at least 4 feet apart so Barney can get in there and out. Yeah, so there were many considerations for that kind of stuff, considering the size of Barney and the other dinos as well.
Wow.
Were there things that you would say to them as they were designing these sets, like, is there any way we could have this, or things that you needed or that would help you out as a director?
Oh yeah, I was fortunate to be able to consult with those guys, and we'd have meetings and discuss things, and I'd have suggestions, and you know, sometimes they work, and sometimes they'd look at me like, "Why are you here?" Yeah, as a director, you have to have input, because you're eventually going to shoot it.
Right.
So you've got to know where things are going to be, and it'll be better if we just move this over here a little bit. And so yeah, there was a lot of that kind of stuff.
And then I want to talk about Miss Penny.
Wow.
And your relationship with her, because that, such an important part of Barney and Friends was the dancing, the singing and the dancing part of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm fascinated to hear, your relationship and how that went, especially in those early days.
I absolutely loved Miss Penny, and
wow,
we were a great pair. She was performance director. I was the video director. So sometimes our jobs crossed a little bit, but she basically took care of all the music stuff, the dancing. I had a lot to do with actually where people are going to stand and do all that. Once she got them not trained, but once she got them rehearsed to do what she wanted to do with the song, and we would talk about that too, like maybe I'd say, well, what if somebody got up on a step, or let's go to do different levels and that kind of thing, So we were hand in glove. I mean, we had a fabulous working relationship, and she was just wonderful. I mean, she was very, very special.
Yeah.
Kids loved her, and she had a lot of insight and a lot of input as to what was going on with that show. There's a lot of Miss Penny's thumbprint all over that thing.
Yeah, she was very special to me. Well, and you were and are as well. When I got into doing it, it was all new to me, and the ones that have been doing it for so long really, guided not just me, but several of us over the years changed, and you made us all feel at home and explained so much.
Well, I thank you for saying that, but I'm going to offer an apology.
Uh-oh.
Because
yeah.
I always tried to be very aware of the dynos because of the costumes and the heat and all of that. But I can remember, Carrie, on occasion, toward the end of a day or something like that, looking at you, or maybe Jeff, maybe Kyle, maybe Adam, and you guys are pouring with sweat, and you're like, and I'm the guy standing there going.
I'll be right back, folks. I am so sorry, folks. My mom is texting me while I'm in the middle of making a project right now, and LJPCBM episode number 554, and all of a sudden she just told me I'm driving. I'm like, what? No. I'm just busy making LJPCBM. You let me know I'm done, okay? No, yeah. That doesn't answer my question, that's just me. But anyway, let's continue on. Continue in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, guys, can you do one more take? So, I have to apologize for doing that to you guys, because I know there were times when you must have turned around and thought, oh my gosh, really? You want us to do this again?
Well, I've talked about this before. The thing that was so wonderful about working on Barney and Friends is that everyone felt the same way, right? We all knew why we were doing this. We understood the importance of the kids. We understood when you were asking for another take, why you were asking for another take, and why it was so important. And, we had been doing this so long as a family that Yeah, it was tough. You know, we had to dig deep sometimes, but we
Man.
understood why, and we understood it's a lot. You know, when you're dancing and you've got kids and dinosaurs, and you know what you all had to do as directors. It's a lot.
It was a lot, and people have looked at that show for a long time and thought how simple it is, you know, because it does look simple.
Right.
That's part of the whole visual process we wanted to present. It didn't need to be complicated and all of that. After all, we're talking to preschool kids, but it was not simple to put together.
No.
No.
Okay, I want to show you something.
I can't wait to see it.
Well, I don't know how well I can do this. No, that's not what I want to do. Wait a minute. I got another one.
Wow, boyfriend's chair, okay.
Okay.
Wow.
These are scripts for the series.
Wow.
This, by the way, is a little diagram of the floor plan for the set. Yeah. So I would draw out where the cameras were going to go and that kind of stuff based on what Penny had done and where we were going to block people and that kind of thing. But these are scripts for PBS shows. You see all those tabs in there?
Yes.
Those are all little notes to myself about who knows what.
Wow.
How complicated it is, It's you don't just, okay, camera one, okay, camera two. No, it's very complicated. But you get a white script to start with. And then the rewrites start coming, and they come in different colors.
Yes.
Wow.
So you get a blue and a yellow and a pink and an orange, depending on
right.
how many rewrites are being done. And it's a mess.
Yeah,
wow.
I used to laugh because I'd go, "Oh, there's a new color."
Yeah.
I'd see that.
I was talking to Dennis the other day, and we were laughing because we said, we did so many rewrites, we'd run out of colors.
Yeah.
Have to go back to white and start over,
Wow.
So okay, I want to show you something because you can relate to this big time. This is a bunch of stuff from Barney's musical Castle.
Wow.
Okay.
That would
so this is we did this in Phoenix, right? Rosemont.
Yeah. Was that
Rosemont Theater?
No, that wasn't in Phoenix. That was outside of Chicago. Rosemont Music Castle.
All right. Well, I want to show you some of the complications. You poor guys, we worked you to death because I know I made you do one performance with no audience at all.
Wow.
So we could do some close-ups and get up on stage and do stuff like that. But the audience who watched these never knew that we taped that show 5 times.
Wow.
Each time I would move the cameras to different positions. Like we did a close-up pass for you guys. Then we did one pass with just audience shots. Nothing else going on except maybe a wide shot of the stage. But,
wow.
So I'd have one of these for every performance, and you can probably see my little red numbers.
Yes.
Those are camera positions.
Wow.
Every one of these is different. Cameras move all over the place. But, man, it was complicated doing those things,
And
wow.
this is fascinating to me because I haven't seen this part before on Musical Castle. I've been doing that show for 2 years, every night for 9 months out of the year for 2 years. Was
Wow.
that a challenge for you to get a show that we had been doing it and 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 doing it to make sure that it still looks fresh? Was it challenging? You know, when you're doing an episode of Barney and Friends, it's fresh every week. But on that show,
Yeah.
we've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that
Well, the challenge was with you guys as well. You know, to do it fresh. You know, to say, okay, we're doing this for video. It's different than our regular audience show. So I'm sure your adrenaline was up a little bit too, knowing that there's 8 cameras out there shooting you, and even though I sat down with all of you and said, look, if something goes awry, it doesn't matter. We're going to shoot it 5 times, so we'll be able to edit things and do all of that. But,
Wow.
yeah, it is a challenge, and when I shoot a concert like that, doing a PBS show, you basically call the show as you're shooting.
right?
You call camera shots and all of that. When you're doing a big concert like that, you're going to shoot it 5 times. You really don't do that. You don't do kind of a live edit as you go along. Now, I am, talking to the camera operators and stuff and adjusting shots and things like that. But we're not switching it, because it all gets put together later, in an edit suite. So.
But because I know I'm notorious for doing this. Is there times where, after watching us rehearse and watching the show and going, oh, okay, Carrie's going to go, oh, he just jumped.
Wow.
We try to be consistent, right? We try to do all that. But, oh, he just launched into a 360, or Baby Bob just went left and she was supposed to go right.
Wow.
That's why I love live TV, I've always loved it because you never know what's going to happen. And all the guys, I worked with as camera operators and all of that, they're all live TV guys too, so it was never any big deal,
Wow.
It is what it is, that's just things happen.
Right. I want to go back a second to Barney and Friends, the original, because 30 episodes, that's just a lot. And
wow.
In the scenario you had it all set up, what was it like with those original cast kids? Because that's a lot for kids. What was that like? That experience, like, especially these are all Dallas kids. What was that experience like?
Wow.
Well, other than the fact that we were doing one a week and it was helter skelter, we had. Hang on.
I love all this. I love seeing all this
wow.
stuff I've never seen before.
We had enough kids that,
Yeah.
Wow.
No. You're good. We can see there it is. I remember them all very well.
So that's the original bunch. It's not the original Backyard Gang, but
right.
There's Brian Epps and Pia Manalo, little Lauren up here, and Susanna Wetzel and all of that. So what have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. So we only usually had 4 per show.
Wow.
So we could alternate them, and that way keep them fresh. And by the way, they had to be schooled and taken care of, and we provided security and all of that. So
wow.
There was a lot of attention paid to the safety of those kids and their education and their well-being. As you know, we had medical staff on set all the time. We had security, particularly when we were at Las Colinas, a place where the public comes through all the time.
Right.
We had very good security there because actually Barney had to, and the kids had to walk from the studio to the dressing room through a public space.
Yeah.
So they were always with a guide. They could never go by themselves, particularly the kids. Barney not so bad because, he'd get undressed on the set and then he was, you were just a guy walking across.
Right.
Wow.
But, security was a big, big deal. And education with the kids.
Yeah. I'm thinking of Jim and Sandra Gilpin, and these names are coming across. These people that are amazing. That work with those kids.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it was. We were all like a family. Everyone was very close. It was a wonderful working atmosphere. No yelling allowed.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like the Masters golf tournament.
Yes.
No running. They don't allow anybody to run on the ground. No running. So I tried to keep it happy, and I loved working with the kids. I loved joking with them and keeping a very light environment because, they're kids.
Wow.
They don't need to be yelled at and looked down upon or anything like that. So that was very important to me to treat them in that way. Not so much you guys, okay, please do me one more take.
But we had so much fun as well. You had to be able to laugh and joke and have fun.
Yeah. The other thing, Carrie, is we all knew that we were doing something very special. You, David and Bob, you and Dean, when you guys would do those last wish events, Make a wish, yeah. I mean, that's when it really hits your heart about who you're dealing with, who your audience is, and what you mean to them. Gosh, hair on my arm stands up just thinking about it.
Wow.
Yeah, that was those were just absolutely amazing, and it was a challenge at times because you had to really focus, because we've got to go back and shoot the rest of the show, and you've had one of these sweet kids come on the set, but I think it just even motivated everyone.
Yeah.
More, and it really was amazing. Those experiences. My hair is on my arms too.
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you a quick one about little kids on the set. You reminded me of the story. This was in first season, series 100. We had a bunch of very small young girls in tutus, little ballerina. There were 8 or 10 of them maybe. And they hadn't met Barney yet.
Yeah.
So we had them all sitting on the floor. This was in the classroom in that little studio. And they were about to meet Barney for the first time. Well, these are little tiny kids sitting on the floor, and here comes 7-foot Barney in the room.
Wow.
Barney came in, doing his thing, and this one little girl, first thing she said was, "Please don't step on me, Barney." True story.
So funny. And then, so what was it like? Because you were around at the beginning of Baby Bob.
Yes, I was.
That had to have been. You made me think about it because Barney was so big, and then all of a sudden, we've got these dinosaurs that are coming in that are closer to the kids. Did you see that?
The first Baby Bop is 5 feet tall.
I know.
And the first DJ was as well.
Jenny Dempsey. I remember working with her.
There you go. Yeah. So, and the costumes evolved over the year. Barney looked better and better and better. And, BJ and Baby Bop both started out very tall, and we got them down. Thank goodness we had Jeff Ayers and Jeff Brooks and Kyle and Adam and the whole gang. Fabulous actors. To be able to emote through a suit like that, like you guys do. It's just amazing to me that a costume like that with an actor inside can emote in that way. Of course, the voice is a big part of it. Of course, but still, you guys physically have to show that emotion. And you poor guy, you're saddled up to your elbows. And,
man,
not much to work with, but still,
Well, we were fortunate to spend so much time that you learn. Oh, I can do this. Oh, let's try this. And you over the years, I spent so much time doing mall tours and sing-alongs and all those things, and you can figure out what works and what doesn't work. What was it like for you when you finally got to leave the little studio and go to Las Colinas, where you had kind of a playground there?
You know what that was? That was Imagination Island.
Yeah.
That we did the NBC special. Well, it was like heaven,
Wow.
All of a sudden, you move from the bunkhouse to the barn,
Right.
Wow.
That studio was huge.
Yeah.
And Jess Nelson built designed this beautiful ship.
Wow.
That was a big part of it. And one corner was all the jungle stuff that the kids wander through. And then another big area was Tinkerput's place,
Yes.
And it was amazing to have all of that space. It's absolutely amazing. And that was probably the precursor to us moving there, right?
Wow.
To do the series.
And then that's where you got into. So you were doing producing there as well as directing.
I'm not sure about the years, but yes, I think I was. Yeah.
And it really grew from there.
Imagination Island, huh?
Oh yeah. So imagine, and I didn't realize you directed it, and of course you brought in one of our Purple Roads friends, Barry Pearl, came and played with you.
Absolutely love Barry. Absolutely love Barry. Yeah. Yeah, we had a fabulous time together. He had so many great ideas, and I just said, do it, Yeah,
wow.
I got a camera. You do what you want, We had a fabulous time. Yeah, he was great.
Was that a challenge? Now you've done the live show, and you've done the TV show. Now you're doing one for NBC. What challenges were doing that?
Well, it was much bigger. We did more special effects. We did things with that little ship set that we were never able to do in Allen because we just didn't have the space. For instance, we wanted to do a move where the ship was moving away from some trees, which was later going to be shown in animation, the ship essentially after a storm winds up sitting in a bunch of palm trees or something.
Right.
Well, Jeff designed a rolling set of trees and stuff, and then we roped it through a pulley, and as we pulled on it, the trees came away from the set of the ship, and then combine that with a camera move, and it looks like the ship is pulling away from the trees. So we were able to do a lot of that kind of stuff. We did a lot of blue screen with kids, things we couldn't have done otherwise in a smaller space. So yeah, there were new challenges, and but every challenge is an opportunity. So I think we met them all. We had a great time doing that show.
Well, and I, working all the years and on Barney and Friends and getting to see and getting to know all the crew, They just adapted when you guys asked for crazy things. Can we do this? Or we want to do this? Or we need this set piece? Or we need...
Yeah. It's true, and God, the art department. Oh, hang on. I'm coming back.
Stand by, folks.
I love this because I keep seeing stuff I've never seen before.
Wow.
Our fabulous art department. Look at this.
Oh my goodness.
Woo-wee!
Little thing you've ever seen.
Wow.
That camera from Sensational Day. Oh my God. Love the camera. Just like what the other camcorder did before, back in nowadays. Continue on.
Wow.
Those guys designed and built whatever you asked for. I don't think this was even asked for. This was something they just put together. Here, can you use this? Well, of course we can use it.
Wow.
All right, here's something else, talking about cast.
Wow.
Wow.
Look at that.
Season 7. Jeez. Even though this is a cute season I've ever seen, but my God, this is awesome. Or if this is season 8, I don't know. But anyway, let's continue on.
You know who's in that picture?
I do. I'm looking at both of them there, Selena and Demi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Goodness.
That's Selena.
Yeah.
And that's Demi up there.
Yeah.
That's Demi Lovato.
Well, and we've had a couple right in front of Selena is Catherine, who we had Catherine on Purple Roads.
Catherine Pulley.
Yeah, Catherine Pulley.
Yeah.
And Hayden Tweedy, she was on Purple Tales, the other show.
She's right there in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Michaela and Kayla.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and there's Linda Houston too.
Oh yeah.
Which I worked with for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. Who's that young man right there?
Oh, that's Grayson.
Grayson.
It is.
Duh.
Grayson. Okay.
Yeah.
I looked and looked and looked, and I couldn't find a name that I thought was him. But you know what? When we did one of the Mother Goose shows, I had Zach Sosa, I had Hayden. Was it Hayden? No, it was Catherine Pulley, Grayson, and who am I forgetting? Oh, Michaela. Michaela was up in the. No, it was Kayla, who she was in it. Anyway, this little guy, Grayson.
Yeah.
He's a fun little guy, but I'm telling you what, put him in a costume.
Yeah.
He just exploded as an actor. He was
Wow.
fabulous. He was, and so was Catherine. The two of them played these nuts at what is it? You know, the big dinner table. She goes down the wormhole.
You're talking about Alice and when we did our
Alice, yeah. What was the name of that video?
Oh, that was the manners video, the good manners video.
It was.
Yeah.
That we did in Las Colinas. Yeah, I was on that.
Ding, ding, ding. Yes, that rings a bell.
Well, I only remember it because we talked about it. Well, Catherine was on and talked about it. And it's funny you say that because she said she loved being in a costume.
Wow.
Oh, my God. She was fabulous. She and Grayson, I mean, they just, well, and Zach Sosa was just amazing. The three of them cutting up on that set. Oh, my gosh. They got into it 110%. Those were three of the best performances from kids, I think, over all the years. I mean, they were really.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I love doing this because Catherine said being in a costume, it was just so much fun. I loved walking around in it. I loved being in it. I never got tired of it.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of like Halloween. People put on a costume, they actually become somebody else.
Wow.
It's like, okay, I'm covered up. Nobody knows who I am. I can be somebody else, you know. But anyway,
So
yeah, that was a great show to put together. I forgot that was part of Manners. I've actually been trying to look it up, and I thought it was part of one of the Mother Goose shows, but
well, that Mother Goose show, wasn't Julie Johnson Mother Goose?
no.
She did at one point. I know she played Mother Goose at one point.
She has been Mother Goose. No, this was, oh gosh, I can't remember her name. But that was also a fabulous video. Bob LaValle was production designer at that point.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, he put together such a beautiful set, and it was so fun to shoot. Mara Baker was on it. As a matter of fact, the reason I remember Mara is because she did Long Tame a Spider and sat down beside her. Little Miss Muffet. I have the tuffet. I still have it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I should have brought it down here. I'd hold it up for you.
Wow.
It was just a beautiful piece that Elizabeth at Velson got for us. And when it was over, I went to Elizabeth and I said, "Please, can I have the tuffet?" And Mara Baker was Little Miss Muffet on that.
Well, and I don't know if you can see behind me, Jim, but I have a couple of the trains from when we were.
Oh yeah, I see it up there. Yeah.
Up top.
Yeah.
So I was able to get a couple, from that set as well.
Wow.
It's fun to. Is that a wishbone over there? Is that wishbone?
That is a wishbone over there.
I thought that was wishbone. I love that show.
I had Larry Brantley was on one of the episodes. And so,
Wow.
What a guy. I love Larry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh goodness. Yes.
That's Kelly Eichenhold.
So cute.
Remember the show we did with that big balloon?
Yes, I do.
It was outdoor.
Yes, I do. Wasn't that BJ in the balloon?
Yeah, I think so. And we did. We had it tethered to the ground so we could do some shots from the balloon back to the ground.
Oh wow!
This is from the art department.
Wow!
They made this up for me.
Wow!
That's you.
Yeah. I probably don't. I've lost my purple a little bit.
Man.
That's you, my friend.
Yeah.
And then, okay, look. Speaking of people we love, here we go.
Ooh.
Wow.
Julie Johnson, Bob West.
Yeah.
Me and my good friend Eric Norberg.
Eric Norberg.
Who AD'd many shows for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy.
And then,
wow.
Pia.
Yeah. Wow.
Pia.
Yeah, we had Pia on. She's amazing.
She's been very successful, hasn't she?
She has.
Wow.
She has. She's incredible.
Well, so many of our kids went on to great careers, whether in show business or not. You know, Brian Epps, Kurt Dykhuizen, just a wonderful young guy when he was on the show. I mean, now he's a fabulous guy. He's a doctor.
I heard about that through our good friend Jeff Ayers, who keeps up with a lot of people.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, Jim, I'm in Fort Worth, and Brian Epps is out here. You know, he's a lawyer now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wanted to be a weatherman, and he turned out to be a lawyer.
But yeah,
I was at the Colonial one year with Ben Vaughn, as a matter of fact. And, you know, we're standing there watching somebody tee off, and I get a tap on my shoulder, you know, Mr. Rowley. I turned around, and there's Brian Epps, you know, big, tall man. Yeah. It's fun to see these kids grown up, and you know, you and I are both friends with a lot of them on Facebook, and they're showing their babies now, and you know, it's like, how can this be? You know, where did the years go? It's amazing.
I know, you know, it's so fun doing this, but when we do the Zoom, we don't, you know, I haven't seen some of them, so I had reached out to Catherine through Instagram, and you know, the first time I'd seen her in years pops up on the screen. I'm like, oh my, you know, my gosh, this young lady all of a sudden. The last time I saw her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, another show and tell.
I love it. I still can't get over that camera. That camera is so cool.
Wow.
Okay, I'm only doing this because you've got as many as I do, but.
Good.
Wow.
Look at those. Yeah,
all the backstage passes from.
You've got some
ad infinitum.
Yeah, you've got some I haven't seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some. I've even got one here for. Look at this.
Oh, look at that.
So boring. Continue on.
Yeah, we went over to London and take Bob the Builder.
Oh, I didn't realize you did that one.
Yeah, and Miss Penny, she did that show too.
Well, because Josh Martin was on. He drove one of the trucks he was talking about for some of those.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Bob the Builder.
No.
You got more of these than I do, I'm sure.
I have a few. I have a few.
Here's one more. The art department. I kept griping because people would put stuff on my roller.
Yep.
So the art department fixed me up.
Man.
I love that.
That went on my roller so nobody would touch it.
I
would show you the reverse side, but no, there are words on here that I can't show.
Man.
Did you direct the show where Barney jumped into the pool?
No, that was Fred.
That was Fred.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Were you on the set when
Yeah, no, I was always jealous about that. Envious, I should say.
Man.
Oh my goodness. What was it like? Because you know you did all the different versions. So now you're doing Barney and Friends in Carrollton with a lot of some new people. What was that like when we came in and now I'm there and Dean's there and Kyle's there and you know because you'd worked a long time with David and Jeff Brooks and now here we go again. And I remember so well, like it was yesterday.
Wow.
Doing that Barney camp with Selena and Demi. Yeah. And that was my first Barney camp when we taught the kids kind of what it was going to be like. What was that like for you? Now here you go with a lot of new cast and some new crew.
Well, you know, it wasn't totally different because as the years go by, you keep adding new kids to the cast.
Sure.
The Barney camp was a regular thing, you know, where you got the kids in for the first time and you teach them about hitting a mark and you know what does open mean, what does close mean, all of those things, you know, and how close not to get to a dinosaur and you know all those things and you know where you spend time discovering about their personality, you know, and you know, at that age, a lot of those kids are cast basically on their personality, not their acting ability, because they probably haven't had any, you know. So you want to find kids who are outgoing. But here's another story.
Okay.
We were doing a casting session.
Yeah.
And you know, you sit there at a table and you see kids all day long. You know, it's wearing on us, it's wearing on them, you know. But you try and keep a fresh, positive attitude so that the last kid you see you know, doesn't see you all worn down and you're mentally, okay, I'm tired of doing this, right? So it was late in the day, as I recall, and we were waiting for a little boy to come in, and the casting director came in and said, he doesn't want to come in. And I said, no, we definitely want to see him, you know. So I don't recall exactly how this happened, whether his mother talked to him. But anyway, he was persuaded finally to come in and meet with us. He was very shy, very reserved, but in some way, he was so special that it didn't matter to me or the producers if he had an outgoing personality and he was, hey, how you doing? Right. He was totally the opposite end of that. That young man was Angel Velasco.
Wow.
You remember Angel?
Yes.
One of the best kids we ever had on the show. You know, he turned out to be just fabulous. And oh boy, see, I'm getting getting that again. Yeah. So you know, some of those experiences I look back on, and it's just, you know, we were so fortunate. We had very special kids, and we had very special people like yourself and the little dinos and the Miss Pennies of the world and Lisa Albertson and Elizabeth Velton and, you know, and God bless Dennis DeShazer for putting us all together, you know, and making it a place we all wanted to be, you know. I mean, it was, he really looked out for us, you know. Yeah, he was the man to have in charge, no question.
Well, I got to tell you, Jim, Dennis is still looking out. He has been such a supporter of me and of Purple Roads and Purple Tails and everything I've done. And I talk to him all the time, and I love that man to death. So he is just, you know, from my Barney days, he always looked out for me, and he has kept that going. And I have so much love for him.
Well, you and I are brothers in that respect. Dennis was, he was, I don't even have the words. He was very special to me. He always looked out for me. He always took care of me. And I never had to worry about anything because there was a Dennis DeShazer, you know.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I got to also say here how much fun I had. Myself and Mr. Dean, we used to go golfing with you, and a lot of times Ben Vaughn. And I don't know if I've laughed as hard as I did.
Wow.
Those experiences.
Were you with us today? Gosh, who was it? Maybe it was Ron Valentine or somebody. We were playing out there at, what was it, Indian Trails or something like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
There's a body of water, and whoever hit the ball, you know, missed it terribly, and it skipped all the way across the damn pond. So
You're good.
Skipped all the way across the pond and wound up on the green. We did a lot of crazy stuff.
I remember so much laughing. I want to finish up asking you some questions. I'm not putting you on the spot here, so I'm not going to say like what was your favorite, but just what was a favorite episode that you remember for you directing?
Boy, specific episodes.
It could be just a moment. It could be a moment. Was there a show, just something you remember really enjoying?
Well, there are a few. The Manners video.
Wow.
I enjoyed doing that, but in particular, you know, the thing with Selena and the kids. Why do I keep forgetting what it is?
Yeah, the Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland, right? That resonates with me a great deal. That particular part of that video, I always loved doing. Coming on the road with you guys and doing the big stage show. that was a lot of fun for me because technically it was very challenging. It was a lot to overcome. And so I always enjoyed that challenge. I enjoyed getting ready to do those big shows. That was fun. I don't remember specific episodes so much. I can remember things about episodes. I remember when Jeff Nelson and Ray Henry back in Series 1 were puppeteers doing a goose chasing, running around the set because Mother Goose was there trying to find the goose,
Right.
So they had a puppet and all that kind of. That was great fun to shoot. But they're down there, like Sesame Street on their little sled sliding around and doing that kind of stuff. That was fun. I really enjoyed the show we did where we brought back kids from the early shows to be with kids from the present shows.
Yeah.
Brian came back, Pia came back. That was great fun to do that as well. I really enjoyed doing the home videos because it really gave us an opportunity to stretch out. The day-to-day series was more of a march and step. Let's just keep going. We got to get another show done.
Yeah.
Even though we approached it with the right attitude.
Right.
I enjoyed working with Bob Lavelli, designing those sets. For the later seasons. That was great fun. It was the best time of my later adult life. There's no question about it. I spent 16 years there, and it allowed me to blossom as a director. I mean, it really did. It gave me opportunities I never would have imagined, and so I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to have been a part of it.
Do you have a couple favorite Barney songs? Because probably a couple songs you're okay if you never hear them again, but were there a couple songs that you did enjoy?
When people find out what I've done, they all start singing. You know what they do, don't you?
Yeah.
They start singing "I Love You."
Of course they do.
Wow.
Yeah. No, not really. I do think of one song when I'm brushing my teeth.
Wow.
Oh gosh.
Well, I always get asked about that "I Love You" song. Do you hate that song? And I tell them no. I never got tired of it because I saw the reaction. To all the special needs and the Make-A-Wish and all of that. When you've had a Make-A-Wish child sing the "I Love You" song, and I actually had a child in a burn unit sing it to me one time. It just, but there was no sadness. A moment where you think should be sad, the child, and same with Make-A-Wishes, where the children are singing this because they get the chance to see their hero and sing that song. It has such a different meaning. So, yes, even though we did that song so many times, it has a very special meaning. But
I'm with you on that. I never hated that song. I never hated hearing it. Because people, like you just said, will ask you, "Wow, you must have heard that 1,000 times. Don't you hate it?" No, I actually love it because it stands for everything we did. It stands for the whole philosophy of what Barney was about.
Mm-hmm.
And then last question. When people find out that you did Barney, what is the question they ask you the most?
The question they ask me the most?
Yeah,
Were
for
you
me,
Barney?
Yeah.
That's the question. It doesn't matter how I'm introduced. Mostly people say, "Oh, he was the producer of Barney," and then they go, "Were you Barney?"
Oh my!
No, I was not Barney. I get that more than ever.
Oh my gosh! I can't thank you enough, Jim. This has just been such a pleasure.
My pleasure. All my pleasure. I had a great time. I'm so happy you asked me to come along and be part of this. You got a great thing going here. I'm very happy for you.
Well, thank you so much. It's fun every week. You've showed me things and told me things I'd never heard before, and I just love it.
Well, let's do it again sometime.
Well, we will just absolutely have to do that.
You should get a pair or two or three of us on at the same time. But boy, I'll tell you what, it would be a rowdy show.
Well, we will do it. We actually did one with Jeff and Kyle and Adam, and
I saw that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had no control. It went wherever it went. It was so much fun. So we will do the same thing. We'll get another group together and we will do that. But it has just been such a blast. And thank you so much. I learned so much from you over the years, and I appreciate that so much.
Well, I appreciate that, and my apologies once again for pushing you guys.
No.
Wow.
No. Well, thank you, and I will talk to you soon.
Adios, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching Purple Roads. Remember to keep your eyes, ears, and your heart open, and you'll find your Purple Road. Subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
So that was Purple Roads Podcast, episode 38. Jim Rowley, the director of Barney Friends, and the last two Barney in the Backyard game videos. What do I think about this video? It was amazing. So far, this video went to be a success. Anyways, guys, that wraps up LJPCBM Reacts, episode number 554. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one, which is going to be LJPCBM Reacts, episode number 555. It's going to be called episode 39. The author budgets and Boring, Max, and Ruby. Whoopee freaking do. Till next time, Blue Jefferson, goodbye, peace out, baby. We got more Algebra Reacts episodes, guys, very soon. Till then, Jefferson out. See ya.
Given unto me this life I'll never take for granted, and given all the time I failed to really understand it, I never sought to meet the maker of reality, the one who gave the life that which is always happening, but I tried all the time. I ask, why me? Why was I the one to see things as I do under the moonlight and the sun? Perception is the question, and the giver holds the key.